Okay, as far as other progress goes, 2-aught all the way back to the battery as well. Everything kind of meets up right here on this positive post. Everything else seems to be wired and working properly now. I also have a, let's see, fan water pump bypass control here that when I turn it on, the fans and the water pump will come on for in between rounds. So when the car is on the charger, we can run the fans and the water pump. Better hook the battery back up. I've got it unhooked right now. We'll just kind of temporary that back together so I can show you the rest of the stuff that's done. Our CO2 bottle, I am still searching for a mount, but should have one of those before long. It's all plumbed in, checked for leaks. We're not losing any pressure as far as bottle pressure goes, so that's pretty good. We're not leaking anything, is basically what that tells me. I need to put a new piece of glass in that. I don't know what happened to it. Okay, now on the interior, we have not enough light to show this, but let's see here. When I turn the key on, we have a shift light here in this pod that I built. We have a new trans temp gauge down here by our shifter. We have our active AMS 1000. We have our trans brake and our bump button on the steering wheel. What I wanted to accomplish is, instead of having to hold all kinds of buttons and operate the shifter and everything else during the burnout, simply because the burnout button would have had to been over here, or it would have had to been a left-handed. So how do you come off the trans brake while holding that button for the line lock while shifting gears? So my plan is to get it on the trans brake a little bit with the line lock engaged, come off the trans brake, let the tires start spinning, shift a gear, and then let off of my line lock and roll the burnout out. Well, that's kind of impossible to do when you don't have enough hands. So what I did is, if you come over here to this little deal here, when we're getting ready to get into the burnout box, we flip this switch. This red warning light comes on to let me know that it's engaged, so that I don't forget to shut it off before launch. So now, instead of being trans brake and trans brake and bump button, this is now our line lock button. So now we can pump up our brakes, hit our line lock, go on the trans brake, build some RPM, drop the trans brake, still holding this line lock with our left hand, come down here, shift our gear, and then let off our line lock, roll the burnout out, and be done. So we'll flip this off, hit our trans brake, back up, get ready to stage, and now we are back to trans brake and bump. So you see the bump does nothing now because the trans brake isn't engaged. But if I engage the brake, now you can hear it bumping it. Also, you can hear our solenoid start going to town, commanding that 1 psi of gate pressure. That's going to be 6 pounds in the burnout. So it'll also be 6 pounds in the staging. Anytime the trans brake is on, it'll be 6 pounds of pressure commanded, because it's 1 pound of gate pressure plus 5 pounds worth of springs in there. I'm going to test that out here after a while to make sure that it's actually 5 pounds worth of spring. I honestly can't tell you right now until I actually get into it. So, I'm turning the key back off here. So, lots of progress has been made. Oh yeah, I actually kind of like this Raptor shift light. It's not bad. It also has the rubber that goes on it for nighttime racing so that it doesn't freaking blind you. Okay, so that's what I've gotten done so far. I'll update you in a couple hours.